I mean, instant response it's so important. Being able to see, oh, is this time exactly available? Because I've got to, I can only do like 2 p.m. on Friday or something. Does this restaurant have it? Yes or no? If they can't see it immediately, they'll probably just go somewhere that does have a reservation system. But you also touched on another thing, which is around, what's the intent? What's the drive? What drives that customer to that restaurant? Hello, welcome to Monogic's podcast. I'm Kieran. This is Alexandra. We're the founders of Monogic. And today we're talking about the digitization of a restaurant, basically. Actually, I think one of the things that maybe not many people know is that that's also how we started our agency, Monogic, is that we started out by assisting restaurants in digital transformation of this and that because we started during COVID, basically. And I don't know what it was like everywhere else, but in Hong Kong in particular, restaurants weren't able to open at all, really. Or at least they had to close at strange times. There was all these sort of restrictions that were placed on them. So we kind of did the best we could to help them to open new revenue streams, right?
Yeah, so I mean, restaurant industry in general in Hong Kong is quite traditional. Like especially before the pandemic, it was always been quite traditional. So during the COVID time, Kieran and I just thought of, okay, how can we help the most restaurants during the pandemic, because restaurant industry is such a human, like it requires a lot of human touch. So
it's very offline.
Yeah, restaurant is always an offline business, and how can we digitize for our clients to help them to reach more customers? And I mean, back then at COVID time, that they're not even allowed to do dining. Then how can we help them to build different business stream, different like income streams? So one of the things we do is digitize for them by building delivery system for their own delivery system for them, and to start helping them to do multi-way of digitization. Some of our clients don't even have like a Google My Business page, for example.
Yeah, it's crazy. So like, for example, we were building them like delivery platforms that were owned by themselves, because I mean, these restaurants, when they're doing all their viability analysis, it's based on their in-venue margins as opposed to their delivery platform margins. If they get rid of their dine-in entirely, then they're not going to be sustainable just doing delivery, basically, because the platform fees are quite steep. So that's how we started out. We were building them platforms for their regular customers to order through, so that they weren't, paying big commission margins on, existing customers that would have come to them anyway. So that's how we started.
Yeah, but what do you think, like in terms of like after pandemic? I mean, people very excited to to have restaurant or bars business like blooming again. So what is the thing that you, as a digital marketer, you see the most when it comes to digitization? What is some like common things that they neglect?
So you mentioned like the restaurant industry in Hong Kong is extremely old school. Like it's, I think, the least prepared for any kind of digital transformation, but a surprising number of restaurants don't have an online reservation system in Hong Kong, which is really surprising. I mean, the reason we want to set all this up in the first place is not only to make it easier for customers to book, if it's all part of one digital flow and they don't have to pick up the phone or switch to different mediums, that increases the conversion rate a lot, making it as easy as possible for a customer to make a reservation with the restaurant. But also because it lets us to connect our marketing efforts with the business, right? Having that kind of infrastructure like a booking system in the first place lets us actually record when a customer makes a booking, so that then we can look at the number of bookings that were made and where they each came from, so that we can get a better picture as to what is working on our side. What marketing have we done in the last month? How many, what campaigns and how many reservations did we get from certain campaigns? So that's why we want to set all this up in the first place, because, it's digital marketing. We want to focus more on performance.
Yeah, I think one thing I'm always surprised, right? Like, as in, I mean, it also depends what kind of restaurants. For example, like let's say if you are like a neighborhood restaurant, Cha Chan Teng, probably you don't need a reservation system, because it's more for, you are more the kind of business that looking for the traffic, like people walk around,
right,
etc. But I mean, if you are a restaurants that actually is a place for destination shopping, like people will come all the way for your restaurant, I really think that like in this modern world, I will be really surprised if I don't see the restaurants that aiming to have destination shoppers to have a reservation system, because it's apart from the digital marketing side. If nowadays when people just scrolling on their phone, they looking on emails, the first thing they want to make, how they want to make a reservation is probably not calling you anymore. Is to, I want to click a link, we even got DMs on social media, I want to book a table, because it's convenience. They just want to send a text, they just want to press, just enter the email, and then they finish the booking, and they want to check the availability immediately, which a reservation system can do for you. And the other drawbacks of having your traditional way of doing reservation system by your phone is, if many of the clients are calling you at the time that, let's say, your receptionist went to the toilet, then you probably miss quite a lot of business, because you're not picking up the call, I failed to call, or maybe 2 customers try to call at once, only one get the line, etc. There are so many possibilities that they can to hinder the reservation. And I think reservation system can solve all the problem, and it really fit the fast-paced world, because when I want to reserve, I would know exactly from when to when I can book, and I would just book right away. And I think you're so right. The first thing is reservation system, because it's very surprising that this has not come to mind.
Yeah, I mean, instant response it's so important. Being able to see, is this time exactly available? Because I've got to, I can only do like 2 p.m. on Friday or something. Does this restaurant have it? Yes or no? If they can't see it immediately, they'll probably just go somewhere that does have a reservation system. But you also touched on another thing, which is around, what's the intent, what's the drive, what drives that customer to that restaurant. So like something like Starbucks is convenience. It's just convenience, right?
Yeah, it's the traffic.
You're not going to call in advance or book it, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's you're walking around a shopping mall and, should we stop for a coffee? There's a Starbucks there. Convenient, right? So we are obviously talking about restaurants that have, a different kind of drive. So whether it's visual or story or whatever, there needs to be like more. It's not convenience, basically. We've got to create that need.
So what other channels do you think restaurant neglect apart from reservation system?
Yeah, so the next thing is a website. I mean, some restaurants have, most restaurants have them. A surprising number don't, and an even more surprising number have ones that were built in like the 90s. Or, they're just not fit for purpose. There's actually a few cases where, we've come on board and said, like, you need a new website. Like, we can do it for you in like 2 weeks, but you need a new website because this is not cutting it at all. I think the main difficulty is that these restaurants building websites for desktop when like 80% of their website traffic is mobile.
Yeah, that's true. Most people are just like scrolling online now, or it's a lot of the chances I'm not necessarily just search your domain, right? I'm just going on your IG. I'm just gonna click the profile link. Oops, it's a desktop version.
Correct. Because like this is the exact medium where your people are going from social media, or they're going from all your other marketing points, and they're coming through your website usually, right? So it's like a massive disconnect. You're probably losing a lot of business just by having an old website. So we've like implemented, so for example, at our agency, we implemented like a mobile first philosophy. Build the website for mobile first, then port it to desktop, because most of the traffic is mobile. Most people are looking on mobiles these days, not desktop. So that's the second thing I think that restaurants don't really have.
I do have a question I want to ask. So if you, like, we come across a few cases where like we working with, let's say, a hospitality group. So a hospitality group, they have, let's say, for example, they have like 4 to 5 restaurants. Do you think they should have one like restaurant websites of the group, or they should individually have their own restaurant's website? Because like adding up is actually quite a cost, let's be like in a restaurant point of view, right? Like, because like building a website is a one-off fee, but then you also have some like monthly fee that you need to pay for. Which way would be better and why?
In the most ideal case, you'd have both.
So like a restaurant group website and then a venue website?
Right. So the restaurant group would have the website with all of the sort of child pages, one for each venue. And then each venue also links out to its own website. That would be
sounds so inappropriate. I'm sorry.
That's what it's called.
Right, okay.
But you could do one or the other. You really could. I feel like most restaurant groups have a group website anyway. I'd say the most important thing is that each restaurant has its own website, because that link relates directly to its Google My Business profile. It's going to really help you float to the top of your own branded searches, especially if your restaurant's got like a common name. I'm trying to think of one. But
restaurants near me.
Yeah, something like that. So like you're going to float much higher to the top if, you know, you've got your branded name in your domain. Whereas
Right.
if you're on a group, you won't have it in the domain. It'll be the group name, right? That would be my input at least.
Well, I understand that for some client point of view, is for some restaurant point of view that like you're managing a lot of website at once. But then I think in long term, like you said, is definitely helping your to be
Performance.
search engine friendly. And I think having your own like on the website maybe and also on the website you can share the venues news, and then also you can get more expand your database like we touched on the previous episode. Let's say on the EDM part, newsletter, link back to the social media accounts, etc.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah, like so many of us are now living primarily in the digital sphere, right? You know, social media and such. A website in this day and age is like a digital storefront.
yeah, that's actually a very great like description, because nowadays like almost everyone I know, before they going to a restaurant, they definitely gonna stock it online. At least I'm gonna find out. I will go to that restaurant, but at least I want to know what kind of food I'm gonna order, how they look like. Am I gonna take picture with the food? Probably. I need to make sure it look great.
A staggering number of people, I can't remember the exact figure, I think it's like 80%-ish of people will look at a menu before committing to a booking.
Right.
Where are they going to go to find this? I mean, maybe they'll go to something like a review site, like an Open Rice or whatever.
Which usually
most
the
of the time-
photo is dreadful.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
true.
a phone photo and it's like
That's true.
blurry.
Most of the time, though, they go to the website because they know that whatever's on the website is the most up to date. That's the most trustworthy source. And then obviously, once they're in the website, they can just go and make a booking directly from there. It's like a hub. This is what I mean. Like, it's the same as if you go to the physical storefront of the restaurant, right? You look at the little menu that's outside the front door
Yeah.
before you walk inside. It's exactly the same. So that's why it's just really surprising that a lot of the times restaurants either don't have this, you know, digital storefront, this, you know, like the website, and even more cases just haven't optimized it at all. So yeah, that's really surprising to me.
Yeah, I think like totally like you mentioned about digital storefront on the website, yes, definitely. And also like Google My Business as well. I'm also surprised to see some restaurant they don't really manage their own Google My Business. We do have a few
Yes.
cases that we need to try to talk to Google and try to get back for our clients.
Correct.
Because like if I'm a customer and I see a restaurant as a destination, I'm going to visit with my boyfriend this Friday. You don't let me reserve, fine. But at least I need to know if you're open. What time are you open? What time are you going to close? What time is your last order? And at least Google My Business can give me this information. But if you're not managing, you always will give a wrong information to people. And if your restaurant is actually not, like there's two scenarios. If the customers come to your restaurants and then they find that, oh, you are closed, and then you basically just send this customers to someone else next door, or if you're located very far away, I come all the way and I cannot dine in at your restaurant, I'll be so pissed and I won't come back again.
Yeah, exactly. First time, your first customer interaction with that customer is negative. Yeah, you're probably losing like huge business, you know, especially if you're like open at like say 10 a.m. but your Google My Business says 12 and you don't manage it. And you wonder like, oh, why am I why is there only like 3 customers in my restaurant for 2 hours or something?
Yeah, we do have an extreme case before. So I'm not gonna name which restaurant, but like basically on GMB they show that they close for lunch, and then we don't
Right.
have the access to change it. So that's why it could directly affect the business where there's like no one come for lunch because everyone searched online, they thought they're closed. And then we just took over back then, and then we cannot really take the access to change it for them, and it really hit their business.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think this all just kind of comes back to, you know, it's just really surprising how offline I think this industry is, and, you know, how much it needs to kind of catch up, I suppose, is the term.
Okay, but about this episode is all about digitization.
Right.
To wrap this up, as a digital marketer,
Yep.
what is the top few things checklist that a
Checklist.
restaurant should look into to see if they are fully digitized?
Okay, website.
Yeah.
So having a website that's optimized for mobile has
Yep.
all of your menu, your booking links, etc. Second, booking system, ensure that you're able to kind of measure where your bookings are coming from, and so you can better market in future. Three, owning all of your social media channels, including Google My Business and things like that. Facebook, Instagram, all your ad accounts that are connected to those. Thirdly,
Social media link.
yeah, and then just ensuring that it all links together, I suppose. It's you got to kind of put yourself in the customer's point of view. What's their discovery pattern, their discovery journey? Obviously, they're going to see you first on something like, an influencer's post or your own social media channels. Where do they go next? How do they action that? Usually they'll go to Google, then they'll go to your website. Are they getting all the information they need before they make that reservation? Looking at menus, checking the price points fit for their purpose. Availability. Are they available on the exact time and date that I need it? I think that's it.
Thanks, Kieran, for sharing this checklist with us. I mean, if our industry friends or restaurateurs have any questions, always welcome to check with us.
Of course.
Yeah. So thank you for watching this episode. I hope this is some fruitful information
so.
for you. And thank you for watching, and see you very soon.